Aloha, it is Dave Lawrence, and we're here at the Soho Mixed Media Bar in Honolulu. I'm doing my first ever interview at this location, and with a gentleman who I had a great conversation with on the phone the other day from the English Beat, from General Public. It is Dave Wakeling. Aloha and mahalo, brother, for taking some time for me.
Are these follow-up questions, because they're beautifully handwritten? A lot of our radio listeners are not going to appreciate this, but some of the writing, very, very small, but rounded and quite still very readable, even though it's quite small. Take a lot of time and care.
I was doing my homework.
You really were.
And he's impressed by it, which I like.
Black circles at each one, there's points, bullet points.
Tried to help me separate them in the event that we were in a hectic environment, but we got this nice, quiet little
It's
place.
like counting $20 bills in the back of a nightclub in the dark, you know, with the waiters pushing by. It's a skill.
Got to be prepared for anything, and I do appreciate you taking some time for me. And it was a lot of fun talking to you. And one of the areas, what I did was, in some ways, I picked apart the questions I didn't get to on the phone, and some of them were even some of the better ones. And one of the things our listeners heard on the air was about, and you described really aptly how reggae from Jamaica has taken a different tone once dancehall sort of took hold, and it influenced and informed the sound of regular reggae, and it had a gangster kind of quality. And I was curious, when you made your first connection to Jamaica itself, when you first visited, your impressions, what kind of stuff you did there?
When I first went to Jamaica.
Yeah, as a guy who's made his career purveying and to some degree using some beats that came from Jamaica.
Right.
When did you first go there? What were impressions you made? And draw some connections with the music that came from your experiences there.
We went pretty early. We went in 1980 or 1981, and we were very, very nervous. Saxa said, "No, it'll be fine. They'll love it. You watch." We're like, "Nah." It's like the idea of just being me, Andy, and David being three young white English musicians going to play reggae in Jamaica at a festival. We had somewhat trepidatious. We thought, well, we may have pushed our luck a little too far at this point, And Saxa was right. The only thing that was very odd was the Jamaicans did indeed love the concert, but they were all hanging on the wire fence on the outside, so the fence was dancing. And the Americans and Europeans were inside the festival.
And where's this, Montego Bay?
I suppose. I can't even remember, Yeah, it probably was. But my first memory was our security guy, John, had been born in Jamaica and brought over to England, raised by his grandparents from an early age. Was going back to Jamaica, as he saw it, for the first time in 30 years. First time ever go back. And as soon as we got out of the airport and got the hotel, got checked in, we wanted to go walking, and he wanted rice and chicken. So we went walking and walked some back streets and looked for a restaurant or a cafe or something, We knew what we wanted to eat. And they were walking and walking and walking. Then we hear clip clop behind us, like three sets of shoes just following us, getting a bit closer, getting a bit louder, getting a bit more obvious. Then all of a sudden, "Hey, you English boy." I'm like, "Oh no, I ain't even eaten yet," I turn around, I'm like, "Huh, hello." "No, not you, man, him, the other one, the English boy." So our bodyguard, John Richards, was just heartbroken. 30 years he'd waited to come back home to Jamaica. And the first comment anybody made in the street,
English boy.
"Hey, English boy." "Yes, man," he says, "from the clothes you wear, from the way you move, everything, you're English. You'll come back to Jamaica, you're English." He's like, God damn, he was furious. Anyway, they helped us get some chicken and rice, and that assuaged the matter, because as far as he was concerned, he'd just spent 30 years being called a black bastard who wasn't really meant to be in England at all, and he'd just come home to be told he was English.
Not really feeling at home in England, and then not at home in your home.
Perfect, so we just teased him about it. "You'll always have a home with us, John,
Was that the only time you got to gig there?
No, we've been a couple of times, and we got to play once when the president came backstage in a helicopter. what's his name? Osiaga, or I forget his name now. The one that beat Manly, anyway.
Okay.
Wasn't Manly. A bit more right of Manly, a bit of right of Genghis Khan, I think. Anyway, he came in his helicopter, and him and Bob Marley's missus had to hold hands on stage and show some sort of unity, Jamaican spirit, because they was all still killing each other after the elections, I think.
That was sort of like that moment when Bob had been out there with the two of them, that famous moment at the concert.
I suppose it was the follow-on to that. We were lucky enough to catch that. The helicopter landed backstage, and these commandos came firing out of the helicopter, looking like they wanted to shoot somebody, and they all took their catches off their machine guns and adopted kung fu fighting postures. And Siaga, that was his name. Siaga came out. They met, shook hands on stage, and then Siaga came back out, and we did a reverse of the same thing with a reverse kung fu action of switching their things and guarding it, and you didn't get a sense of, I don't know,
Of unity.
one love. That was the thing. That was the song that I had in my mind at the time, and it wasn't. You didn't get that same sense of it.
Wasn't the tourist adaptation of that they have in all the ads? It's funny, that's the song that they use in all the advertising.
One love. No, it was different from that. It was very different from that.
I love those ads because I've only been in Jamaica once, but I went to Negril, and there's this little uninhabited island off the coast of Negril called Booby Cay, and invariably in all the different versions of the television advertising, they show a quick shot of the sandbar of Booby Cay, so I always feel this connection.
Oh.
So when I bring Jamaica up to you, obviously, because
You edited the music in the interview. It's good.
you heard it on the. We work hard at trying to do that in the background. But that was the thing about you. You said it in the interview, which was kind of cool when we spoke, how your influence of the reggae and the ska came from the football chants. And so it was kind of like, I don't know whether that's right to say second generation or whatever, but that's why I asked the questions about going to Jamaica, because it's kind of cool that you went to this place that is the root of the form of music that largely has influenced your career.
Well, anyway, there was tons of Jamaicans who'd played on those records who ended up in England, and for a couple of Guinnesses and a rum, they'd be happy to tell you all about it and make plenty of stuff up if they didn't know, which was almost as good.
But that's cool that you were able to.
It was, and to go to Jamaica and have somebody like Saxa, who'd grown up there and been a musician there, at least guide us, hold our hands a bit. And also not let anybody mess with us, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a rough place, and certainly.